Hi, I here. This is a reading for the sign of Virgo. We're going to do a Celtic cross with a Thoth deck, and what we see on the bottom of the deck is going to represent what you don't see coming. And once we get an idea of what the general theme or message of this reading is going to be, we're going to pull 3 cards from the shadow deck to see what's going on in your subconscious and to see if there are any further clarifications we might need. So let's just see what happens. Okay, so today we are tuning in to the sign of Virgo. So if that is your sun, your moon, or your rising sign, or however else you choose to identify today with the sign of Virgo, you can use that as a way to interpret the messages that are coming through. And if the details of this message don't fit, that's okay. Do not try to force them. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And if none of the details are really seeming to fit your life or situation, you can always check your other placements, or you can just stick around and see what's going on in the world of other Virgos. So let us see what messages we can get today. What things should we think about? What things should we meditate upon? Are there things that we should look out for? Are there things that we should be paying attention to warnings, avoid mishaps that we don't have to get into? Are there things that we should look forward to, things that we should consider putting our energy into or moving towards to make our lives a little better or a little happier? What things do we need to see as we try to tap in today to the energy of the sign of Virgo? What messages can help us? So I'm going to do one more good shuffle. That felt good. And then we're going to see what our Celtic cross has to show us today. Okay, that feels pretty good. Let's see what happens. So we start off in the present moment with the 3 of Wands, the spark of creation, of something moving from 1 to 2 to 3, maybe 2 extremes coming together and then expanding into that third. And this is the energy of fire. So this is that passion, that unmanifested power of just the divine forming into something bigger and expanding out. Maybe it's an idea, maybe this is an opportunity for you. Something has started, something is in motion, something has begun to move forward. We are no longer in the immediate spark of creation. We're not also at the gate of walking through to begin a journey. We have passed through that threshold, and now something is continuing to grow and expand. Maybe not in front of us, maybe not something we see directly in our immediate world, but something is beginning to move forward. Energy is starting to progress in the forward direction around us. So whatever that means for you, whatever that situation is for you, something has started and is progressing. Let's see what that is. Queen of Wands. Perhaps it's you. Perhaps this is you really stepping into your personal power and realizing the strength and elegance that you have. Maybe this is something that has been inside you all along, and now you are finally moving into that and learning to control and channel and express that to the people around you. So a lot of nice, powerful, fiery confidence here, which is nice. 8 of Wands, 2 of Swords, Knight of Cups, Prince of Wands, 6 of Wands, so much fire. The Universe, the Queen of Cups, and the Death card. Look at that. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna admit I don't see immediately what this is saying. This is just a lot of fire, power, but we'll just have to go through this a little by little to make sense of what's happening here. But there's definitely some interesting juxtapositions here. So let's see what's happening. So we have, for our major arcana, we have the universe and the death card. Very powerful cards to have as your major arcana, right? The universe, expansion, completion, the whole of everything, becoming one with everything, and is a meaning that this can have. And then we have over there at the top the death card, which is the ending and the harvesting from the past, that we can create to make something forward. It's something ending so that something new can begin. It's that transformative process. It's the nutrients that comes out of the decaying remains of the past. So there's movement. As we said, we started with the three. There's movement forward with whatever this is. But as is usually the case with the death card, especially at the end there, something has to end or be let go of in order to step forward, right? If anything is progressing from point A to point B, point A has to be left behind in order for us to get to point B. So, in terms of our court cards, we have the Knight of Cups, we have the Queen of Wands, and the Prince of Wands, and the Queen of... So we have the Knight and the Queen of Cups, and the Prince and the Queen of Wands. So we've got the fire, and we have the water there. But one of them has a Knight, one is a Prince. That's interesting. In terms of our other minor arcana for fire, as I said, we've got those two court cards, and we have the Three of Wands. And down here is the Six of Wands. So lots of fire. And the Eight of Wands. What am I saying? There's so much fire, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Half the reading is fire. So we're burning something. I think I'm almost feeling funeral pyre kind of energy here, of something being let go and from its ashes burning into sort of a reflective period that is then going to allow us to move forward into whatever is next. But yeah, that's with the death card and all this fire. Like I said, I have this image of a funeral pyre, of burning the remains of a loved one, but in a respectful, ceremonial way. In terms of our water, we have the two court cards. And that's it, just the two court cards. Of course, death, we have the Scorpio energy there, so there's some water there. In terms of our other energies, we have the Two of Swords. That's our only air. Not a lot of air, so that's very focused air as well. And absolutely no earth. So yeah, again, I feel this energy of funeral pyre, of there's the grounded earthy like manifestation is not there. It's being burned away, and this is the fiery transformation that happens as that moves to the next stage. Now what's interesting is there's very little air here, but there's lots of water. So there's definitely a connection, an emotional resonance with whatever the situation is going to turn out to be. As I said, I'm not clear yet what this situation is, so let's just go through these cards little by little and see what's happening and see if we can make some sense of what this is trying to say to us, because this is an interesting set of cards to pull a message from. Not immediate to me what's happening here, so let's just go through. So with the Three of Wands, as I said, this is something has begun and is moving forward and is in progress. So with this idea again of this funeral pyre that I'm feeling, perhaps someone that is close to you has passed, or perhaps there is something that was very important to you that has been removed. But rather than sitting and reflecting about the negativity of this loss, perhaps we are connecting with the forward momentum that we get from processing this difficulty. And so, as I said, something has been set in motion. I think that is the healing process of whatever this removal or loss or letting go is. And although it's not done, and all the details of getting through that particular situation may not be immediately clear to you, you're moving past that and letting go of that. And that's the motion that is begun, but is maybe not necessarily immediately aware to you, is that we're dealing with some of these things subconsciously. But we're doing it confidently, we're doing it with empowerment, and we are not letting our sorrow hold us down. We are being fueled by it, and that is the Queen of Wands that crosses this. As perhaps this is representative of walking through this gateway of dealing with this situation and then standing strong as we confidently go through that gateway. And so that third wand on the other side of those two that are the gate, that is the queen. That is her holding that wand right there with her companion there by her side, her spirit animal, that power of the cheetah, just feeling strength rather than fear at what's going on. And this is a walking away I see of some chaos with the Eight of Wands behind her as she walks through this gate. Perhaps there were all of these different feelings of all of these different ways to handle some situation, or all of these ways of processing whatever this difficulty is. That's the eight pulling in every different direction. And so this can make us feel very lost and confused, and we have to stay grounded and figure out, how do we deal with this situation, right? There's all these different things. I can let it devour me, I can ignore it, I can deal with it in all these different constructive ways, and that is a very difficult place to be in. But when we finally sit and we focus our idea on how we want to move forward and we choose a path, that's how we choose that Two of Wands gateway that we then walk through confidently, and we hold that third wand in our hand as we move forward into the future. Now, in the future, that what we're moving towards here is the Two of Swords, peace. Usually this is being stuck with a decision, but I actually feel like the eight is almost the being stuck with the decision. Perhaps the eight is the intuitive process of trying to make sense of which decision to make. And maybe this is less of a timeline and more of two different sides of this process. There's the feelings that are pulling you in every which way from the Eight of Wands, the passion to have to pick a direction, and the Two of Wands is the actual mental process of trying to make sense of all of those choices and feeling that deadlock. All right, this is sort of the source of the deadlock, is the things pulling us, the passions or ideas in every which way, and this is the actual what is being sensed in the mind, is what feels like a gateway. But we walk through this, we walk through that. It's like a bullseye that we're trying to move towards, and it looks like it's blocked. But if we move confidently through that, we can pass through that cross there, and then we can move into the next era of dealing with whatever is going to happen. We may not know how this is going to turn out, and perhaps that's part of what has made us feel scared and stuck. But again, this is the Two of Swords. This card is peace. We find comfort in realizing that although no option may be the best option, by committing and choosing to an option and deciding to move towards it, we find peace by transcending that deadlock. We break that stagnation and we choose something to commit to, even if it's not even the best option. We are empowered by the fact that we've been able to make that choice. Okay? Now, underneath all of this, we have the Knight of Cups, and above it we have the Prince of Wands. So we have a Knight down below, which is a more mature energy than the Prince, and the Prince above is, so I feel this is our inside experience, and this is our moving outward into the world, what we're navigating towards. And so we're trying to take this powerful, fiery, confident energy and move towards something new. We've made this choice. We've decided this is how we're going to handle the situation. And now we are confidently moving forward with the grace of the Queen and the youthful passion of the Prince. We're not looking back. We're not going to stop and say, maybe I made the wrong choice. Maybe this was not what I needed to do. No, we are confidently moving forward. But while we are on this chariot and we are taking all of this fiery energy forward, what we hold inside of ourselves is this emotional power. In fact, I think this moving forward, this is not to me feel like moving forward to escape our problems. This is moving forward to carry the weight of the difficulty of our situation that we have to come to terms with. And so with the Knight of Cups, we are in control of our emotions. We are not hiding from them. We are not we're not leaving them behind. We're not on our chariot to get out of Dodge, right? We're not just I'm out of here. I'm not dealing with this. We are moving forward because we are dealing with this. we're carrying that emotional heaviness inside of us, but we're not letting it be the weight that carries us down. We're letting it be a fuel that we can then carry forward. I feel, even though the chariot card is not here, this to me feels like the energy of the chariot. The pulling together of all of these different forces, the passions and the logical thinking, pulling that into coordination. The queen is the person navigating. The prince is the energy that she is navigating with, pushing forward. She's pulling all of this energy and channeling it into that. I mean, look how shining and like forward moving that prince is. It looks like the power of the sun. We have a lion there, right? It's the power of the sun moving forward. And all of that balance is coming together with that Three of Wands. Everything's coming into focus, and we're carrying this weight, just as we see on the Chariot card, that thing that's being held, that sphere being held at the center. This is that. This is that Knight of Cups energy. And we've even got the Cancer crab there, right? This is the weight we carry forward. The Chariot is not an escape. It is a movement forward to carry the thing we know we need to take forward with us. And as we do all of this carrying forward, as we move forward with all of this strength and power and passion, this is why in the present moment we have the Six of Wands as our energy. It's victory. Whatever difficult situation has been pulling you in all of these different ways, it's coming together, and you're using it, and you're not rejecting the pain that you feel. You're letting it fuel you and be something that you carry. And perhaps it's a situation that you've been through something difficult, and that difficulty gives you something that you can share with other people. Your processing of whatever this was, whatever this difficulty was, is something that you can share and let others who are going through that difficulty also get through that tough time. And so this victory you can carry forward, and you can bring that to the world. What starts off as a personal tragedy, but a victory that you overcome, is something that can grow and grow and grow. You can share the insights of your tough time that you've been going through with other people and connect with those around you. Some people, when they deal with a difficult situation, they isolate, they pull away, and that's fine. Sometimes you need that quiet hermit energy to just relax and recover. But that's not the mode we're in here. This is very much the mode of we are going to stand strong and confident, move forward, and empower ourselves. And that's why I think this energy of a funeral pyre, it's a funeral, right? Someone has died, and you're burning the remains of someone that you cared about. But you're not doing that to just get rid of that person. It's a very evocative image of them in a bright light, and you see this brilliant warmth coming from this very cold, dark, sad experience. But that's empowering, and that can be encouraging. It can bring all the people who love that person together around that pyre, and they all connect as a single unit, as a single universal whole. And so it's like a rallying point that people are pulled together from. And your difficulty with whatever you're dealing with can be a sort of microcosm of that same experience. Maybe you were at a funeral of some sort and you experienced this, and now inside of you, you're feeling that same kind of call to let that fire be something that others can rally around. And you can show that your strength of getting through this situation can give them strength as well. And that is, I think, why the Queen of Cups is in the challenge. Because helping other people in this way, you're really tapping into some very deep, nurturing, emotional energy. And although you are moving forward confidently with this warm fire, I think it is a nurturing fire that is going to allow other people to be able to release the things that they are struggling with. And you can, like a nice warm blanket, coat them with this confidence that you share, and that can help them get through their difficult situations, so that the deaths in their life, the things that they struggle with, you are going to be able to help them do the same as you and grow from that loss and move towards something even better. So, yeah, not what I saw coming from the cards when I first pulled them, I will admit, but I think that is a very useful, powerful message that can be helpful for anyone, whether you've lost someone in your life or you're just struggling with a difficult situation. When you're pulled in all these different directions, when your mind and your heart feel like they are ripping you in two and you don't feel like you have anywhere to go, get in touch with how you really feel, and don't run away from that. Let that empower you, and then move confidently and victoriously towards others and share that confidence so that all of us who are dealing with difficult times can get through those difficult times together. You can nurture others and you can help them grow from their loss. So that's a beautiful message. So, and what you don't see coming, oh, the Queen of Swords wanted to poke her head out there. We have the Five of Wands, strife. And this is a card that I think represents growth, even though it is conflict. I think this is, again, this is this struggle when your heart is pulling you in all of these different ways and you need a way to get through that. By learning to balance all of those conflicting energies together, you can let that be a source of power for you. You can let your struggles be something that allow you to grow and become bigger and more connected with you, the things that are pulling all the different parts of you that are inside of you, and all the different people in your life outside of you that you connect with. And we can't leave her out since she wanted to show her head here. We have the Queen of Swords, facing hard truths, but in a nurturing, constructive way. You know, sometimes we have to look very difficult things straight in the face to be able to come to terms with what's happening in our lives. And this can be done in a very mean, aggressive, destructive way, or it can be done in a very nurturing way. And when we have to see these truths for ourselves, if we look at them honestly, but from a place of growth and positivity, then we can learn from those wounds that we might have to, you might have to learn the hard way to get through a certain situation, but you can still grow and learn from it. So I think this is very, very beautiful message. So let's see what the shadow deck has for us. So let's pull just a few cards from here. 3 cards to see what we're thinking about and see if anything needs to be clarified. If you have recently had a loss in your family or your friends or a pet or any kind of loved one, my condolences. It's not easy, I know. Okay. 8 of Swords, 4 of Swords, the Fool. Yeah, being trapped in your mind, in your head. As I said, I feel like the 8, I don't feel this as much as a timeline as it usually is. It was two things as we moved forward, right? These are 2 extremes coming up into like a point like that. And on one side, we have being stuck, being pulled every which way with our feelings, and feeling stuck with our mind. These are sort of similar versions of that. We have an 8 of Swords, being trapped in our own mental prison that we can let go of because it's not a real prison, but that's not always so easy to do, right? Even though we're not physically being bound, our thoughts can keep us from being able to really let go and move forward. And so sometimes when we're in that place, I'm feeling like the idea of a Chinese finger trap, where you put your fingers together, and if you try to pull, you can't. You're stuck. You're never going to go anywhere. So how do you get through it? You relax, and then you can slowly pull your fingers out one by one by not pulling that tension. That's the 4 of Swords. Taking the 8, reducing that intensity to a 4, halving it, letting that tension relax, healing from that tension, and then with the Fool, we just let go. It just falls off. And that's how sometimes we have to be. I'm not saying to let go of your grief and to just ignore it. Again, we are fueled by the Knight of Cups. We're letting it empower us. But this is the hold that it has on us. If you are feeling like something painful has its talons like stuck into you, rather than trying to pull those out, I mean, also I'm feeling like the idea of like this might not be a pleasant thing to hear, but if you have like a leech on your arm and you want to pull that thing off, you can't do that. It's going to rip it off and make it worse. You got to let it relax, give it the time, and then you can pull that thing off slowly so that it doesn't rip more of you away. And so, whatever has you stuck, relax, reflect, meditate. Don't just let it go by ignoring it. Let it go by letting it be felt. And then once it's been processed, move forward with this open, childlike joy of just like, I'm good. I'm happy. It'll all just fall away. Okay. Again, we don't ignore it. We don't pretend like it never happened, but we don't let it control us. We acknowledge it, and then we move forward knowing it's there, but not letting it be the thing that controls us and tells us how to move forward. We move forward in the way we want to, and we do the things that we want to do the way we want to do them, despite instead of because of the things that have hurt us in the past. And what we see here is the star. Finding something more joyful to move towards. Finding your calling. Perhaps finding some kind of, spark of, some inspiration. Maybe whatever this difficult situation is for you, it inspires you. Again, I feel this sense of helping others through their difficult situation. Let the lessons you learn while going through this process be a set of tools that you can use to help other people as they navigate similar situations. And perhaps this is a calling that you've never experienced before, of realizing just people sometimes also underestimate how much healing comes from helping other people. And perhaps that's the idea that the star here, the guiding light that helps us get through that darkness, is learning from these lessons and helping other people get through them. And as we help other people, we end up helping ourselves along the way. So, very beautiful. I like that. So, Virgo, I hope that was a helpful message for you, or at the very least you enjoyed it. As always with any of these messages, if the cards say more to you than what I'm saying, or if they speak different meanings to you, or if you just interpret them differently than I am, that's fine. Right? This is a process for you to get the messages that you need to get from these. But I'm just here to help guide you through this process, to help you get an idea of what I think these mean, and to help you learn something and, get something positive out of this. So I hope that was helpful. As always, please like and subscribe if you have not already. If you have anything you want to share, please feel free to leave a comment down below. I try to get back and comment to all of you as best I can. And if you know other people who might enjoy or benefit from these videos, please feel free to share them. And yeah, that's all I have for you today. I hope you have a great rest of your day.